Fair is a tournament that's been organized for 50 years.
Wow.
Huh?
For 50
5-0.
years. This
Yeah.
is their 50th year.
Jesus is long.
Okay. So this is a big one.
This is a big one for them. The club that runs it is called Cape Fear Rugby, and they've been in existence for 51 years. Anyway, so they started this tournament, and it grew to be the best, most competitive tournament in the Eastern Seaboard over the years for club rugby and below. So you have all the clubs from Maine all the way to Miami. All of them used to come to Cape Fear, and the dates used to be 4th of July weekend, but they shifted it a few years back to this weekend that we are on right now.
What we're kind of used to during rugby is an entertainment side that sometimes, and I'm not saying in a bad way, that sometimes not even interested in the rugby. They just know that people are going to be coming and they will organize on their own whatever they'll have to have the people who are coming from the games to the tournaments. Now let's go back to Benny Apa. Benny, about 60 teams. For most people who've attended LA Sevens, Vega Sevens, they know, even at its peak, the tournament had a max of 16 teams. So how do 60 teams play for 2 days when we are used to seeing very few teams playing in tournaments? Benny.
Well, so Cape Fear, I'll give you a brief history. Cape Fear is a tournament that's been organized for 50 years.
Wow.
Huh?
For 50
5-0.
years. This is their 50th year.
Jesus is long.
Okay, so this is a big one.
This is a big one for them. The club that runs it is called Cape Fear Rugby, and they've been in existence for 51 years. Anyway, so they started this tournament, and it grew to be the best, most competitive tournament in the Eastern Seaboard over the years for club rugby and below. So you have all the clubs from Maine all the way to Miami. All of them used to come to Cape Fear, and the dates used to be 4th of July weekend, but they shifted it a few years back to this weekend that we are on right now. So now that history has ran for so long, and then Kenya Exiles actually started playing there in 2001.
Wow. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It picked alafu, so the guys that you guys are calling Wazee, that team is actually called Wazalendo. Nobody likes to be called Wazee.
Sorry, Basi.
Sorry.
Anyway, so the Wazalendos played when they were in their 20s, and like everything, sports has every athlete has a shelf life. So alifika penye they can compete at that elite level, and we didn't attend a few years. Alafu now we are back. We have a group of young Kenyans who are coming in, who've played from everywhere. They might have played a few games in high school. They might have played a few games in Campo in Nai. They might have played for a club in anywhere in Kenya. So every one of them, once you play rugby, there's usually an itch of wanting to play again. So that's how Cape Fear came about. So now, back to your real question, how do they get 60 people? So we just moved to another venue because they want to accommodate more than 60 teams. Last year they had 60 teams, and you have about 4 to 8 fields playing. You have games going on at the same time, simultaneously on all these games. And you can walk up to any one of them. So what they have is, they have different divisions. You have an elite division where our Vijana team are playing. So they are playing against the best of the best that's from the Southeast, trying to go to Nationals Championship. And then you have the women also have their own championship.
Yeah,
so you have both men and women.
Oh,
inside.
nice.
Yeah, the ladies there, by the way.
Okay.
The ladies playing, and you have now you also have divisions, both sides. So you have the elite division, then you have like an open division, and then a social division. And that goes for both men and women, depending on how many teams. And every now and then they might have a youth division. And on Fridays, I don't know if they had it last year, but they might have it again this year. They also have military competition. So if you're in the military, you play rugby, on Friday evening, they normally have a little competition of like the Navy plays, Army, Coast Guard plays this one. And it's just a friendly thing for the military and an honor to the military because I think Wilmington is not so far away from a few military bases. So at the end of it is this year they've moved to a different venue, which is slightly north from where we normally go. It's called, I'm not sure if I can spell it right, but it's called Encinco or Cinco, NCI something something. I'll pull it up in a minute. But that park has more fields, and they just redid it. The city just redid it with a soccer team, so we're expecting it to be much better. They have one field that we might not be able to use it because it's artificial turf. You can play rugby on artificial turf in the middle of summer. Temperatures are too high.
Yeah.
So that's how they're able to get 60 plus teams going because you have all these things happening simultaneously. And then the best part about this tournament is they don't run the games all the way to like 9, 10 o'clock at night. By 3 p.m., 4 p.m.,
Done.
the
Games are done.
The games are done for the day. So you have time to go to the beach and enjoy yourself.
And what time do they start in the morning?
Around 9.
Wow. Okay.
9, 10 in the morning. So by 9, 10 in the morning, if you're ready, depending on how fast there is only pool play. So all the pool games for every division are played on that day. So you have 12 teams mostly it's like 12 teams by each pool, and then they max out. And then after that, the next day is knockout. So depending on how you perform on Saturday, on Sunday, you'll be told if you're going to be playing at 10, the first match.
Yeah.
Which is a problem.
Yeah.
Which is a problem when it comes to Wazalendo.
Yeah.
Tutaenda Dunda alafu Wazalendo tutasema sasa game yetu kwa sababu we lost every game yesterday. We are the first ones to play.
Wacha ikae.
Wacha we pull our senior citizen card.
Okay.
So that's how it goes. And then the better games are late. And then at the end of the tournament, by the evening, depending on how you win, you continue on until the end of the tournament around 3 o'clock.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
And now is there a schedule, of when the Kenyan teams will be playing, or do we expect to get that on that day when we arrive?
So schedule in most of the local rugby tournaments do not come out until the week off
Okay.
tournament. So the week off, we will be spreading this. We will share the schedule. We have on our Instagram and all our other channels, so everybody can be able to go on there and see what time. And then we'll obviously tell everybody what time we play. We'll curate our times for play for the first day and share all that. But we'll also put the full schedule because what happens is everybody is coming from all over the country. So if there's a team that you've ever been affiliated with and they are there, guess what? You'll go and watch them.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much how they're able to get everything in a nutshell. And I will definitely share the schedule the week off.
Okay.
And by the way, once the games are over, I'm going to the beach. Sani anakujanga na speaker yake.
Wapi Beach.
Eh.
He
has a beach speaker. Utajua ujui. Hala. Carry on.
Okay. Haya, sawa. Na hapa Lauren Kagwe anasema nyinyi ni wazae basi lol, but anasema keep up the good work, Kefia tuko nyuma yenu. Lauren, tell us whether you're coming. We want to know if there are people from outside the East Coast who are going to be coming. So please type in and tell us, yes, I am coming. Now, going back to Sistuki, just maybe give us a background of your involvement with Cape Fear. And you mentioned that you are working together with Kenya Exiles to put the entertainment roster and program to curate it together. Tell us a bit about that, because what we're kind of used to during rugby is an entertainment side that sometimes, and I'm not saying in a bad way, that sometimes not even interested in the rugby. They just know that people are going to be coming and they will organize on their own whatever they'll have to have the people who are coming from the games to the tournament. So what is different with what Sistuki is doing with Kenya Exiles?
Sure. So first off, let me piggyback a little bit on what Benny said. The park where the rugby is happening is Encino, N-C-I-N-O. It was a park that was in Wilmington that has been freshly renovated, freshly redone. There are 11 fields on this particular park, full-size fields. So that's how, again, all these teams will be participating simultaneously. Now, let me go back and give you guys a little bit of history on my involvement with Cape Fear. I DJ'd Cape Fear's after parties for the very first time back in 2004 and 2005.
Haya, huyu jamaa ni mzee.
Jesu.
You were already a DJ in 2004, 2005.
Na alikuwa amebeba
Yes.
nini
Yeah.
Santuri.
Okay.
Yeah. So back then, there was a group of people from Raleigh, because Cape Fear in Wilmington is a 2-hour drive from Raleigh. And there was a group of people, Kenyans, who got wind of this rugby tournament, rented a hall, asked me to DJ it. And it was just one of those Kenyan hanyes. The hall didn't have any restrictions, so the bash went all the way till 5 in the morning.
Haya.
I drove down there with my speakers and sound system and everything, and I was the only DJ. It wasn't those days of you have 3 or 4 DJs. So I would DJ from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m.
Wow.
On Friday and Saturday, and this hall was behind a hotel, and everyone would book rooms in that hotel. And when we get done at 6 a.m., people would gather in people's rooms in that hotel.
Kama ilivyo
And,
desturi.
To be continued.
yeah, this was like,
Yeah.
and continue, having a sherehe, whatever. And that was actually the first time I even met George Mukwasi. That's the first time I bumped into Andy, rest in peace.
Marehemu
Yes,
You
Mama
guys
yes.
remember Andy?
Yeah.
He worked at the
Yes.
Embassy.
Kenyan
Yes.
Embassy.
Mm.
Yes. And that's when I really became familiar with a lot of these guys in the rugby scene. Growing up, the only thing I knew about rugby was parties. I never went to games. I used to go to Nakuru for the sevens and whatnot, but I just used to go for the parties. I never went for the actual sport. Growing up, I only played soccer. But long story short, 2004, 2005, these guys would throw these parties. And then they stopped throwing these parties, I think up to 2006. And then there was a lull. I think Kenya Exile still played. The guys stopped doing the parties, so they didn't book me. So sometime around 2008, 2009, I decided, let me take this into my own hands and throw this party myself. And so I would do my promo. I rented the hall. I bought all the alcohol, because those halls needed didn't have there wasn't a club, it was a hall, so you're selling your own alcohol. I bought all the alcohol. I got the alcohol permit. I got some other friends to help out, and very quickly realized that I was not very well prepared for something like that back in 08. So 08, 09, I tried this for 2 years to do it myself, and every year I lost a substantial amount of money. Now, we got a good amount of people to show up, mostly from our locale in North Carolina. We didn't really have this big push for people coming from other states or anything like that. And we were renting the same hall, which no longer exists today, by the way. But buying all this alcohol, hiring your friends to bartend, who are probably consuming more than they're bartending.
Almost fine.
Just all these inadequacies that help us realize where we were inefficient. And so for 2 years in a row, I lost a significant amount of my own funds trying to make this happen. And it disheartened me, and I stopped. Well, Cape Fear obviously kept going on. Kenya Exiles, as you heard from Benny, had a small break in there when the players, where the age groups kind of had to transition. And so we're in 2025. So I'd say just before COVID, there was another group of people out of Raleigh that tried to do these events. Kenya Exiles tried to work with them, but there was a level of
Madhogodhanio.
there was a level of what to expect.
Sintofahamu.
And also there was this the symbiosis between Kenya Exiles and entertainment didn't exist, right? So Kenya Exiles would make a suggestion. I'd say, for example, we have these rugby players from other teams that want to come. Can we come up with a with a way to accommodate them. And entertainment would say, "Yoni, yenu. Sisi, we are doing our entertainment." You know what I mean? So there would be things like that. And not to say the entertainment was bad, but there was just a lack of that connection.
Accommodation.
Yeah. Now, and then I don't think they really focused on making sure that the curation was up to par in terms of making sure there's a set times for certain DJs to play, stuff like that. And then there was also a disconnect between the DJs that would play at the pitch and the DJs that played for the after parties. It wasn't the same group. So then come last year, actually right after COVID, I've been meaning to jump back into this Cape Fear because I think I got taught a lot of lessons since between 2008 and 2021 on how to manage events and how to run events and how to make them successful and what people actually want. So at that point, I've been wanting to jump back into Cape Fear, but I was wanting to do it the right way. So I didn't just do it like I did before, where I just drove there, found a hall, made a flyer. It wasn't just that. It was deeper than that. It was really understanding the tournament, understanding our teams in the tournament. And that's where I got connected with Benny and had multiple conversations with Benny. I had multiple conversations with DJ Shinsky because him and I have worked together a lot on different things. And then last year we decided, you know what, we've got some ducks in a row. We've got the team on our side. Let's go for it. I had a very tough time finding venues last year. Anyone who's done entertainment in other cities knows that flying into another city or driving to another city, talking to different venues. Now, like I said earlier, Wilmington is a very small town. The entertainment district is in downtown on like 2-3 blocks.
Yeah.
And and all their clubs are basically in that little area. And when you tell them you want to come and you want to do a party in a club, and you say, I'm going to bring you 250, 300 people and I want to take over your club on a Friday or a Saturday, they'll say, we're a beach town. Our summers are busy. We're already getting 300-400 people in our club on a Saturday.
Wow.
So there's nothing you're bringing to the table. And then we don't charge a cover. You want to come and charge a cover, you're going to alienate our crowd.
Wow. Okay.
And so I probably talked to 15 to 20 clubs. I made multiple trips down to Wilmington and I kept hitting brick walls. Finally, we got some venues aligned with us. Actually, for a Saturday party last year, we used a wedding venue that allowed us to go till 2 a.m. by paying them extra.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah.
Was that the hall?
Yeah,
Yes.
I remember